Hey guys, this is Matt Brunet, creator of Animation Lookback and Animats Reviews, and welcome to another big and beautiful round of updates. And for this one, I can guarantee you that there will be a lot of huge announcements going on. In fact, there's going to be a lot more information on stuff that you guys are anticipating for, and a lot of big projects that will be coming up that I will say what's going to be happening with them first here on this update vlog, so you don't want to miss this one. And the first thing that I want to go and talk about with you guys is going to be about one of my more anticipated projects that will be coming up, which is Animation Lookback Cartoon Network. And the first thing that I want to discuss about it is that as I am recording this, I am still in the middle of writing, but I will say that things are going pretty well with it. The process is going very smooth, and eventually I will be done writing pretty soon. But with that said, while I am working on it, I do have a little bit more of a good idea of what's going to be coming up with Animation Lookback Cartoon Network. More like how the format is going to be, what it's going to look like overall, and also when it's actually going to be released. I have officially placed a release date. But the first thing that I do want to mention is that when it comes to Animation Lookback Cartoon Network, what I will be doing is that I will focus more just on the shows that are made exclusively for Cartoon Network, like for the channel, by the channel. And don't worry, yes, I know about the whole thing about, I've already talked about some of their earlier works on Animation Lookback hanna-barbera. I will be bringing that up, don't worry. I'm already on the case. So yeah, in total, it looks like I'm going to be talking about 20 different TV shows from Cartoon Network. And trust me, it's not easy trying to eliminate some of the ones that I already knew about, or even some of the more recent shows, so don't be alarmed if I end up not talking about some of your favorite TV shows that kind of ended up being short-lived. It's just some of the more notable ones that do have some history into them. There could be a possibility that in terms of how many parts there's going to be, I can imagine it's going to be more like your regular animation look back, where I might end up doing 6 different parts. So, the approximation, I can imagine, at the least there's going to be 5, or at the most there would be like 7 or 8. But I would place more of my bets on probably 6 parts. And keep in mind, that's all with the shows I will be talking about, and going into the history of the channel itself. And with all that said, I guess the only thing I could mention for now is going to be, when is it going to be coming out? So I tried to figure where is it that it would be the perfect time for me to buy myself more time to actually go and make some of these episodes, and when is it that I can go and put each part. And I decided that the premiere, like when the first part of Animation Lookback Cartoon Network will be released, I decided to put it at the exact same time when fall will start, on September 22nd. So that will be the official release date of the first Animation Lookback Cartoon Network. And then afterwards, I will be releasing 1 part per month. But yeah, basically that's kind of the whole idea, is that there is a possibility that I'll be going into probably 6 parts or more or less. But yeah, the official release date is going to be September 22nd, so go and mark your calendars on that one. And the next update that I want to go and talk to you guys about is going to be regarding something that I have done a little bit earlier. Like, this is just after I have done the last update vlog during the spring. And this was during the time that it just exploded suddenly. It was a little moment on YouTube called the Adpocalypse, where apparently a lot of YouTubers, especially big YouTubers, noticed that their monetization has gotten so low to the point that they could no longer make it for a living, and they can't keep doing the material that they're doing right now. And of course, it worried the entire YouTube community. Like, they got scared, wondering what they could do and all that stuff. And honestly, it did get me a little bit worried for me as well, and wondered about, like, what will the future of not only YouTube, but also for my videos in general, what's going to happen to them. So what I decided to do, I didn't migrate to another website. I mostly brought in another website to use as my safety net. Like, just in case YouTube will ultimately shut down and die, then at least I'll still have another website where I can host my videos and people can go check it out there. And that is actually my VidMe account, which I've actually built during the beginning of the year. It's going to be the same thing as the videos that I would post on YouTube, but this one is just a backup account. I pretty much had a little period where I actually worked on uploading all my previous videos that I've done, from the Epic Mickey files to the top 10s to the other animation lookbacks and all that kind of stuff. I went and uploaded all onto there, but I will say that I didn't upload all of my videos. Like, I didn't do all the previous vlogs that I've done, I didn't do the little extra videos, and I didn't do all the Muppet vlogs, because that's a whole giant patch of videos. I know that I have more than 100, so that would probably take like even more time just to go and upload those. So I did take the time to upload at least the bigger essential videos. And just in case, if you want to go and follow me, the link will be down below in the description, and you can go and check out my VidMe account there. But at the same time, I also did put in a little treat, because luckily with VidMe, they do not have the strict copyright rules, kind of like what YouTube has right now. So, just in case, if ever would be the situation where I would have to really alter some scenes just so I could put it on YouTube, then I can put in like a director's cut onto VidMe. And the best example that I could put up is actually something that I have done a while back, and for a while it didn't have a home, but now you can actually go and check it out on YouTube, which is my top 10 controversial cartoons. Now, there actually is a bit of a difference between the one on YouTube and the one that's on VidMe right now. Originally, it was available to check out on Blip before it ultimately died. But now it has a brand new home where you can actually go and check it out uncut, unedited, like uncopyrighted, where like I can pretty much do whatever I want in there, and you can just check the whole thing on that website. So if you want to see the uncut version of the top 10 controversial cartoons, you can go and check it out on VidMe. And with that, let's move right along onto Patreon, because there's actually a couple of big announcements that I have right over there. And this is actually relating to hitting a huge milestone that I have waited for years to actually achieve. But before I get into that one, let me tell you a little bit of what's going on with Patreon as it is, or at least my Patreon as it is. When I hit that huge milestone, it did actually make me reflect upon what is it that I can go and improve and change upon my Patreon, just to make it a better experience for my patrons. So I had to make some sacrifices, and I had to make some changes, and also I had to go and add some new things as well. So here's basically the big changes that I have done for my Patreon, and it's specifically onto the reward section. Now, for $5 a month or more, no longer will I be making exclusive vlogs every week. Now, usually these vlogs would be just little updates on what I have been doing with my videos. And instead, what I decided to do is just change it to weekly blogs. So instead of just watching a 20-minute video of me explaining what's been going on every week when I'm making videos, these are just going to be written words where now you can just read all you want about what's been going on with my videos. So basically the whole change is just I went from video to writing with that one. That's all the change that it is. It's not necessarily a huge change. You're still going to be getting weekly updates. Another reward that I also changed up is that I decided to officially remove the t-shirt pledge. It did happen a few times when there are some patrons who actually did ask me to not include the t-shirt as part of their rewards, which is fine. I mean, all you have to do is just ask which are the rewards that you want and which are the rewards that you won't want, and I'll agree to comply with it. So ultimately I decided, you know what, there's no point really to include the t-shirts if people really don't want it, so I decided to take out that option completely. And what I decided to do instead is create a brand new reward, which is a signed Blu-ray or DVD. Now, over the years, especially recently with my new top 10s, I have been getting a lot of DVDs and Blu-rays, but sometimes I do end up getting stuff that I don't necessarily need. So I decided why not and go give them to my patrons, because I'm sure some of them would actually be more than happy to have some of these DVDs and stuff like that. But I would go and sign them up as well. Like, I could just autograph them and you can have it for your own, kind of like a little special memorabilia. And admittedly, it is actually pretty rare that I would do like autograph stuff. In fact, I never have done any autograph stuff. I mean, at the most, I've done it last year at Con Bravo, but that was pretty much it. And for the pledges that go bigger than that, then you can actually have the option to go and have your reward, well, have one of your rewards be either a Photoshop commission, or you can have a signed DVD or Blu-ray that actually appeared in one of my top 10 Blu-ray videos, or one that actually appeared in What's in the Box. So you can have your choice right over there. But at the same time, I also decided to go and update some of the milestones, in which previously the bigger milestones like $2,000 or $3,000 a month, like if I would hit those, what I did was that I just wrote, okay, I'm just gonna go and upgrade my equipment for both of them. So it doesn't seem like much of a big deal, and I mean, it seems very common to actually make those milestones. So what I decided to do is that I decided to move all those upgrade ones to $2,000 a month. So if I do hit $2,000 a month, then what's going to happen is that I'm going to go and get some massive equipment upgrades. I'll get a new, better camera, and I'll get a new, bigger and better professional microphone. So I'll go and get those if I do hit that mark. But the bigger one is actually changing the $3,000 a month pledge. So if I do hit $3,000 a month on my Patreon, what's going to happen is that I'm going to go and write on a book. So I'm actually going to go and make my first ever book. And in terms of what it's going to be, I'm thinking either it's going to be an animation look back book, or it's going to be some kind of Animax reviews book. Something like my interpretation of Leonard Maltin's movie guide or something like that. Like, the ideas are still in the works. I'll figure out the publishing and all that kind of stuff when I hit that, but that's basically going to be the big goal if I do hit that mark. So, yeah, basically that's all the plans that I have, or all the updates that I've done on my Patreon itself. And now let me tell you guys about the big milestone that I actually did hit. Now, for a long time, that was pretty much the biggest one that I was hoping to achieve. A little bit in a realistic sense, but finally the time has come that I finally made it. And I have officially hit $1,000 a month on my Patreon. And honestly, I could not have done it with you guys. Like, seriously, this is all because of you, and I could not thank you enough for it. It really is unreal. But some of you might be wondering, what does that mean now that I actually hit $1,000 a month on my Patreon? Well, believe it or not, this is when I'm actually going to go and make a new channel devoted to gaming. Now, don't get any crazy ideas of what it's going to be. This does not mean that I'm going to go and make like Animats reviews or animation look back devoted to video games or stuff like that. This is just going to be a simple Let's Play channel. And so far, I am still in the works of figuring out ideas while at the same time working on all the other projects like reviews and animation look back Cartoon Network. But basically the whole idea is that I want to go and make weekly weekly live stream Let's Plays. So far in the works, I'm just going to say that I don't have anything fully set up or anything like that. I still have a lot to work on, rather it be just getting the equipment to actually do the Let's Plays, to go and pick the games that I want to play, to pretty much set up all the different softwares and all that kind of stuff, and also building up the channels, because my initial plan is not just to do live streams on YouTube, but I want to find a way to also simultaneously make Let's Play, like pretty much live stream on YouTube, on Twitch, and also on Facebook. So that's initially, that's basically my plan so far with this channel. And in terms of the release date, when I'm officially going to start this, well, so far I am thinking during the summertime, like most likely before Animation Look Back Cartoon Network would be released. But for now, I am still trying to figure out when am I going to do this, what time of the day am I going to do some of these, and also trying to figure out the name, in which, actually, if you look in the description below, you can actually help me out on the name. I'll put in a link onto my Facebook page where you can actually help me out with a little poll on what is it that I would call my Let's Play channel. That's pretty much the whole idea. Coming this summer, I will be having a Let's Play channel, and I cannot wait to get down to that. But anyways, that is pretty much it with all my updates that I have, and now it is time that we shall go with you guys onto the Q&A. So, if you guys don't know what's going on, the Q&A is basically I would go and gather up questions, whether it be in the comments on YouTube, on my social media, or wherever, and I would go and answer 5 of them here. If your question didn't get answered, well, better luck next time, and you can always ask again. So, with all that said, let's go and get to our first one, which we, okay, so, we got a choice of 3, so, hold on, I just got, like, one folder, and then it brought me into another one, so, let's just go into this one, and it's gonna be from the G-Man Guy, and, apparently the G-Man Guy asked, do you want another Epic Mickey, or that they should not continue if Junction Point still existed? Well, honestly, I would probably be down if they wanted to go and make another Epic Mickey, because I could definitely see that with Epic Mickey 2, they wanted to learn, they want to try to improve themselves. I mean, they really did take away a lot of the things that made the first Epic Mickey great, including the story, the writing, and all that kind of stuff. But you can tell that they really do want to improve the gameplay. Like, they want to go and make that better. So, if there were an Epic Mickey 3, then you would see that they would probably want to upgrade a little bit more. Not only make the gameplay better, but hopefully to also make the story better. And that was Warren Spector's plan the whole time. Not just make Epic Mickey as its own thing, but also to have it be an entire franchise and to have a trilogy in the main Epic Mickey lineup. There would have been a 3rd game, and they even teased it at the end of Epic Mickey 2, where you see all the Pete's suddenly coming out, and like they're plotting some kind of revenge onto the wasteland. It would have been a great idea to see an Epic Mickey 3, and maybe explore more into the different worlds that they could go into, meeting up with a lot more obscure Disney characters. Who knows what they could have gone with it. Maybe it would have sucked like Epic Mickey 2. Maybe it would have been as great as the first Epic Mickey, but I don't know. I would have liked it to see... Like, I would have honestly liked it if they made an Epic Mickey 3, but nowadays, I don't know if it seems to be the case. So that pretty much is that question right over there. Let's go and move on to the next one. Hold on. Did I even press on something? Alright, there we go. This is going to be coming from Colin Warmbroad. And Colin asks, I noticed that in your countdown of the top 10 worst animated sequels, you listed Space Chimps 2, Zartog Strikes Back, as being a sequel worse than Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. Which of its respective prequels would you say you hate more? Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs or Space Chimps? If I could be very honest, I would say that both Space Chimps movies are actually one step worse than both Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs films. I remember when I was doing my research for the top 10 worst sequels, like, looking at both Space Chimps, they were awful! Like, they were almost insultingly bad, and honestly, like, even with the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs films, I can find some small aspects, both in the writing and in the animation, that it is actually executed well. But with Space Chimps, there's, like, barely anything that's actually good, down to the point where even the animation can be unwatchable at times, and just the writing is pathetically lazy. And what's even worse is that they even have a main character that's even more intolerable. In fact, that's probably the one thing in the sequel that it actually did better than in the first, is that the main chimpanzee is actually a bit more tolerable, and that is because they replaced the voice actor with Tom Kenny for the second one, and in the first, it was pretty much Andy Samberg doing the same intolerable, bad acting, just like what he did with Johnny in Hotel Transylvania. It really was such a terrible movie, so yeah, I would say I hate the Space Chimps movies a little bit more than I hate the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs films. So that's pretty much it with that. So let's go and move on to our next question right over here. And this is going to be coming from Joe's Sonic Boom. I hope I said his name right. When it comes to animated films or TV, which country do you think is best, either artistic or visual beauty? Ooh, oh god, that's actually a really good question. That's honestly a really tricky question right over there. In terms of the country, I mean, it really does depend. I would say France is definitely right up there. Especially with the works of Sylvain Chomet. Those are artistically beautiful right over there. And not to mention that France also did offer a lot of great animated works, and even contributed so much to recent mainstream animated features. I mean, they were the ones responsible for many of the animation of the Illumination films, like Despicable Me, Sing, and The Secret Life of Pets. So they can do a pretty good job right over there. So France would be one of them. I would also say Ireland is also a great country where they did some nice animation. They were actually the country where they made a lot of the Don Bluth animations from like The Land Before Time, and regardless of what you think about films like A Troll in Central Park or Thumbelina, that still has some really good animation right over there. Like, you could tell that they brought in some really talented artists, and especially nowadays with the Cartoon Saloon films like The Secret of Kells, and also what else was it? Song of the Sea. Like, those are some really good ones right over there. But then, of course, you got Japan. Like, that's just an entire genre of animation right over there. But I would so that's pretty much my three countries that I would say has really beautiful animation in an artistic sense. France, Ireland, and Japan. So that's honestly a really tricky question, but a really good one at that. Alright, so with that said, let's go and move on to our next question right over here, in which I shall be going with Captain Sup. And Captain Sup asks, do you think the animation in Toy Story aged fine or worse? Okay, the animation on Toy Story. It really does depend, because in modern times, like, compared to the animated features of today, yeah, technically Toy Story's animation didn't necessarily age well, but it is still highly regarded as a beautifully crafted animated feature because of how it is at its time. I guess the best way to put it is that the animation of Toy Story is pretty much like Super Mario 64, where at its time, it is absolutely revolutionary. It completely changed the medium, and it was like nothing that anyone else has done before. It was completely innovative and revolutionary. But nowadays, considering that the technology has evolved massively, nowadays, like, it can be seen as a little bit laughable. It's not really all that great per se, especially I have seen so many animators in recent years who would love to make fun of Sid's dog, especially with the way that it kind of has those weird, realistic human eyes. But yeah, I think that's kind of the best way to put it, is that if you want to really appreciate the animation of Toy Story, don't look at how the animation is compared to how animation is nowadays. You just gotta consider, for a 1995 animated film, they really did a good job on its own. So that's pretty much my answer right over there. With that said, I think I got room for one more question, so let's go and make this one count. And this one shall be coming from Jack Da Man. And Jack explains, what do you think is the right way and wrong way to use motion capture? How is Tintin better than Mars Needs Moms? Well, when it comes to motion capture, even nowadays, it is still a very controversial medium, rather if it would be considered more as either special effects or if it could be used as an animation medium. That is still highly debatable right over there. But I think when it comes to motion capture, you really have to use it more in an artistic sense. Like, for example, when you look at many of the Image Movers digital films, rather it be like The Polar Express, Christmas Carol, Beowulf, or Mars Needs Moms, you feel like there isn't necessarily a use for any of the motion capture because they're basically turning people into people. In that regards, why not just go and film it in live action, you know? Why not just go and get costumes, have people dress up, and go fight in a green screen? You could basically do the same thing with that, and it wouldn't make a difference whatsoever. So if you want to turn people into people, that doesn't really work. But when you look at something like The Adventures of Tintin, that thing actually works because it pretty much combines the artwork of Hergé and turns it into a more realistic setting. So that's where you can see the parallels where you can literally see the comic turning into life. It doesn't look like people as people, it's people turning into Hergé characters. So that's kind of the whole point of motion capture, where you have to transform the people into something that wouldn't normally be seen in this world. There are plenty of other examples, not just in animation, but also in other live-action films, rather it be like the Na'vis in Avatar, or Davy Jones's crew in the Pirates of the Caribbean films. So that's basically the main example that I could pretty much look for in there. So the right way, again, is to turn people into something that wouldn't exist in this world. But if you're going to turn people into people, then honestly, you're not using the technology right. And with that said, that's pretty much going to be it for this update vlog. So I just want to go and say thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys so much for your support, whether it be helping me out on Patreon or just by watching my videos periodically. You guys are just simply amazing by doing so. And don't forget to go and like my Facebook page, whether it be my casual Matt Brunet Animat page or my Electro Dragon Productions page, or you can also go and follow me on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. So with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see you later, dudes!